Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you be watching this transmission. 'Tis I, Mike Martins, bringing you another very special and up-to-date off the hour article that's just hot off the press. Stop the presses and what's going on. So if you're living in the Bay Area, there's a little bit of a good news I got for you guys. And what do I got to say? San Francisco Bay Area home prices fall for the first time in 7 years. It's been an absolute disaster. If you've been following me on trends in the housing market every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Western Seaboard time, you would have no idea what these people at the Bay Area, especially the people that have left the Bay Area to go to Oregon, to go to Seattle, and then those affordability levels getting out of reach and people moving east to Salt Lake City, Utah, to Nevada, Reno, to all kinds of cities that people wouldn't intermigrate to. Now, affordability migrants are moving around because people like myself, I am one of those people. I refuse, to pay $2 million for a house that's realistic. $2 million for a detached bungalow built in 1910 in Vancouver that's realistically worth $77,000 in Ocala, Florida. I'm sorry. I want bang for the buck, right? And that's why I left the city. Now, what is happening? Is it the mass exodus? Is it that California is literally turning into a wasteland? Wasn't the California I knew growing up in the 80s, you know? How California, the glitz, the lights, one place you want to be in like 81, 82, 1983 is in California. That's the time you want to be in California, right? But now it's changed so much that a lot of people can't even recognize it anymore. The median price of a San Francisco Bay Area home sold last month fell slightly compared to the prior year period, making the first annual drop since the bottom of the last housing crash 7 years ago, according to CoreLogic. In March, the median price was $830,000, down 0.1%. Hold on. Before anybody freaks out on me, oh, that's 0.1%, Mike. What? That's nothing. No, this is exactly what happened in Sydney. I remember reading that first article like 8 months ago, a year ago. I remember reading that article 8 months ago, maybe 9. It's here, guys. If you're living in Sydney, you can breathe a sigh of relief because it's down 0.1%. Everybody commented on there and trashed me. Now it's down like in some parts 9 to 12%. Some parts are down 5%. Some parts are down 18% a year later from the 0.1 decline. So before you jump on me, hold up. Compared with March 2018, the decline came as price gains had been shrinking for several months. Before the last month, the median sale price had risen annually for 83 consecutive months since April 2012. Oh my God. Do you know what this means, guys? You're going to see a correction of 60 months drops. 15 quarters. Yeah. The median price of San Francisco Bay Area homes sold last month fell slightly compared to the prior year period, marking the first annual drop since the bottom of the last housing crash 7 years ago, according to CoreLogic. In March, the median price was $830. Oh, wait, I read this already. Before last month, the median sale price annually for 83 consecutive months since April 2012. Both May and June 2018, the highest ever median sale price, $875. Prices follow sales, and sales have been running extraordinarily low since last summer when mortgage rates spike. So not only did mortgage rates spike, guys, there's another tiny weensy little problem, okay? Is that people aren't securing the financing. They just can't get the financing for the house. To secure a $875,000 mortgage, you have to have a family income or a total net income, not gross, of about 130 large a year. Okay, because you got property taxes, you got all kinds of costs of servicing your mortgage and all other utilities and other stuff that are not getting any cheaper. Have anyone seen the price of gas lately? Tech IPOs could impact San Francisco real estate. Here's why. Well, we'll look at that in a sec. If it reflects the trend that began in the mid-2018 when home sales slowed and inventory grew, forcing sellers to be more competitive. You know what the problem is? Is they start calling it a buyer's market when it's not. Careful finding, like, do your research, guys. What is really a buyer's market, right? Andrew LePage of CoreLogic Analysts wrote in a release, the year-over-year increase in the region's median sale price was 16.2% in March last year. But after that, the gain in the median gradually decreased each month and fell to the 2 to 3% range earlier this year, when then disappeared this March. Sales of San Francisco homes, including Alameda, Contra Costa, Marine, Napa, Santa Clara, San Francisco, San Mateo, Solona, Sonoma counties were nearly 15% lower in March compared to a year ago. So you're seeing the crippling effect. San Francisco was the last domino to fall, only because of the pent-up, the whole pent-up tech industry is dominating and people have money. I know a lot of tech workers that are living and sleeping in the kitchen. Okay, I spoke to one tech worker that sleeps in a car, and I spoke to another tech worker that sleeps in a kitchen of a friend whose mom owns the house. And if the mom didn't buy the house 30 years ago, his friend and him, or his coworker or whatever, wouldn't be even, they would be sleeping outside. These numbers are based on closings, so they were likely deals that signed in January and February. The market should have been improving as mortgage rates were falling, the government shutdown was over, and the stock market was surging. Those factors bode well for strong sales than we've seen in recent months, but any impeding upswing in activity wasn't evident in the March data, LePage said. Beginning in the late spring last year, some potential buyers got priced out and others simply stepped out of the market amid concerns prices were near the peak. A lot of people stepped out and left the state. A lot of people moved east, Arizona, New Mexico. I know a guy that emailed me the other day. He moved to Las Cruces. Buyers overall, and especially in high-priced markets like San Francisco, are extremely interest rate sensitive. The average rate, well, they're interest rate sensitive because you're borrowing $800 large. You're not borrowing $200,000 to buy $300,000 to buy a house in Sarasota, Florida. You're borrowing $800 large, and when you're servicing a debt of $800 large, that's a lot of money. That's 816. That's a lot of money. That's 816. That's a lot of money in annual fees. That's 5. I'm just trying to think on the top of my head here what that would be. Man, that's going to be a monthly payment of $4,900, depending on what amortization you're on and term. Okay, spiked over 5% according to market. Okay, dealing news. Okay, then fell back again in December. In March, took a deep dive around 4%, but has since climbed back around 4.5%. The next 2 months will likely be key to understanding whether all the weakness in prices and sales is due to fluctuations of interest rates or whether the market has simply hit affordability wall. Thank you. That's exactly what it is right there. And that's why blue and white collar workers are going east. Remember back 150 years ago, wagons west? Well, we're going back east now because it's not working out here on this coast. They opened up the borders to foreign investing, and look what happened. Lots of empty homes sitting empty all over California, owned by investors, boarded up and owned by investors. Houses with Christmas decorations on them all year round. Inventory is rising. You're going to see an oversupply on the market. Watch. But largely because homes are sitting on the market longer, not because there are a ton of new listings. This tech-heavy housing market could also be impacted on the up and downside from IPOs including Lyft, Pinterest, Uber, Slack, and Airbnb. So there was a video here. Let me refresh that and see if I could find that video. It was a good video here about some guy right here, this lady right here. She says something really good here.
Just this week, we've seen two examples of people with high-paying jobs driven out of the Bay Area because of skyrocketing housing costs. San Francisco Federal Credit Union CEO Stephen Stapp is taking another job in Portland, in large part because his rent in San Francisco is just too high. Keep in mind, he's a CEO.
Yeah, CEO.
He says he pays $5,000 to rent a 1,500 square foot home.
At what interest rates right now, you could borrow $1 million and pay $5,000 a month off $1 million. Oh, 45. Sorry, it's more than that. I'm sorry. I'm thinking if interest rates were at 1%. I'm sorry. No, it's a lot. Five large he's paying. Five large, then that person, that mortgage, I don't think it's taking at a negative position. The mortgage, I'm just guessing. But the mortgage, the property value, the property sitting in should be valued at about $690 at 4.5% VIG or interest, under juice, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I think he's covering the mortgage and probably the property tax on that property. That's why he's paying that much.
Looking at the cost of the housing here in San Francisco, not only do you find that the prices are very high, and obviously many times you get into bidding wars. We've seen, in our industry, we've seen many people come in with all cash deals to secure that
Foreign investing coming with all cash deals.
property.
Canada has a major problem right now with the billions of dollars laundering in Canada. Billions. So Bay Area housing, median home prices, San Jose 830 large, San Francisco 1.1 million, and Palo Alto 2.5 million.
According to Zillow, the median home price in San Jose, California is $830,000. In San Francisco is $1.1 million, and in Palo Alto, it's $2.5 million. Earlier this week, a member of Palo Alto's planning commission quit her position and is planning to move to Santa Cruz because she and her family simply can't afford the $6,200 rent of a home they share with another family.
$6,200 rent with the home they share with another family. So that's, I'm guessing that mortgage is well over $1.4 million. At what rates are now? They can't be. They got to be around 1.2 million. At what rates are at 4.5% VIG? If the juice or the interest is at 4.5, I'm thinking that it's a $1.2 million mortgage, depending on how long she's lived there and who the owner is. And yeah, it's crazy. And that's why people move. Oh, I'm paying $6 large a month for rent. Oh, hey, why don't you move to West Palm Beach? I could get you a nice pad, a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, and you don't have to live with another family in an apartment for $1,300 US a month. And people are like,
And one possible solution that's been talked about is increasing the inventory of homes, but that's
going to put an inventory on the market. But they've been playing the supply versus demand issue for a million years now. It does not work. It's once they crack down on foreign investing and people parking their money on American soil. They've done it in Canada. They've been doing it for so many years. It's so bad that the Canadian proper cannot live in their own cities anymore. They even have exhibitions in Shanghai and in other parts, Shanghai and other major cities in China, where they exhibit condos being sold in Canada, and they make fun of us, saying that even the locals can't afford to buy them. I don't think it's the locals can't afford to buy them. I just think the locals aren't nuts to spend $3 million on a 2-3-bedroom condo in Vancouver. I want to know what you guys think. If you're in the Bay Area, comment below. If you want to come on Trends in the Housing Market on Wednesday night, let me know. Just add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980, and you're more than welcome to come on the show. Let me know what you guys think. Affordability has been the problem since day one. And it's not because people aren't making enough money. It's because historically low interest rates. This is right now you are feeling the side effect of that. And the side effect is overly inflated asset bubbles, and creating cities like San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, even Seattle, turning them into empty shells. And San Francisco's lost its light and glitter, and it's everything. Los Angeles, everything. Affordability levels took it to a point where the divide between poor and rich, The last time there was this huge divide between poor and rich in the United States was just before World War II. Just before the war kicked off. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Sorry if my math is a bit off. I'm thinking of percentages and percentiles and amortization terms and all that crap. Comment below if you're in the Bay Area. I would like, this article is by Diana Olick. Thanks for taking the time to write this and sharing this for us to read. Thank you.